Aussie surf psych rockers Ocean Alley released their fourth album, Low Altitude Living, today. As you can see, they're on the road, but we did find them. We tracked them down in Los Angeles, where they're about to do a show. So here are Baden and Mitch to give us the lowdown on that new album.
Last weekend had some rain. Was feeling heavy in my corner.
So when you're playing in the States and overseas, is it a different kind of vibe than on this side of the planet when you're down in Australia and New Zealand? Because I know you guys were just here at Spark Arena not too long ago. So
yeah, I think each nation kind of has their own feeling.
But there's normally the sort of standard mix of people in the crowd.
Right.
So in some ways it feels sort of similar, and then in other ways, you know, it's a bit different.
Right. So new album is Low Altitude Living. What does that mean exactly?
It sort of describes sort of the mindset, and it's a metaphor for kind of how we feel when we create music, and a metaphor for our lifestyle. And
right.
I guess it doesn't describe the songs so much as you know, how we go about creating them for this record.
Right. So this is when you get together and you plan an album, and I assume there is some planning involved. What kind of discussions, inter-band discussions do you have? Do you talk about musical direction? Do you talk about a theme? Do you talk about a sound? What happens exactly?
It doesn't really start like that.
Nah, we go in very unorganized. We just plug in and start playing.
Right.
And I guess we just let the music direct us in whichever way it takes us. We sort of head down that route, and
eventually we have to ask those questions.
Right.
But definitely doesn't start that way.
Yeah, we sort of let it shape itself, and then we try and take over from a certain stage in the writing process. But most of our albums have been kind of almost just thrown together in between tours. We get some weeks at home to write and record, and we'll kind of cram it in there, and then by the end of the year we've got about an album's worth of music which we'll release. So not the process on this record, because we weren't touring when we wrote it, but
right.
Yeah, definitely sort of has that winging it kind of feel. Like,
yeah.
So when did the record start to take shape for you guys? When did you start realizing what it was?
It'd been a good year at least of sort of demoing the ideas that we had to start off with. And as each of the songs, as we went back to each of them and sort of refined them, then that's when it kind of started to emerge. I guess we have more focus at the time of doing the record, more focus on each individual track and trying to perfect that before we start trying to put them together as one body of work. So yeah, we had heaps of extra time to do that this time around because we weren't touring. So
right.
We revisited stuff, and stuff changed up, and yeah.
So with all this extra time, and with, you know, everybody's dealing with the pandemic and COVID and all that stuff, do you feel like a different band and a different way? Do you have a different way of working than you did, say, back in 2020 when you put the previous record out?
No, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, I don't think we feel at all any different, but just the process felt a little bit more enjoyable and relaxing, and yeah, just with the extra time we had on our hands, we really sort of immersed ourselves in the writing, and we went away and stayed in places that we hadn't stayed before, in some nice Airbnbs, and
right.
got comfy and drank a ton of beers and played a bunch of music.
You get some surfing in?
We did.
Yeah,
actually.
we did. Yeah.
So it's like a kind of a holiday retreat. You know, minimal distractions. Of course, we can always get distracted by a wave or two, but
right.
just move away from all our friends and family and what's going on in our everyday lives gives us time to sort of just focus on writing music. It's pretty much that simple.
Cool. Speaking of surfing, there's a tune called Touch Back Down, which you got a video for. I was kind of sitting in a van together and doing your thing. Tell me a little bit about the song, about the video. What can you tell me about it?
Touch Back Breakdown's kind of about getting back down to earth and being grounded.
Right.
That was one of the first tracks that we started to write. Baden wrote the lyrics, sort of was at the beginning of that period off after we'd been pretty busy.
Yeah, during the pandemic, I sort of was just at home writing a bunch of lyrics and had a few chords lying around, and just in one of the first sort of writing sessions we had, that one came together pretty quickly. So we were quick to release that one, which we felt ended up being quite a good song to sort of introduce the new record, because it does sort of sit in a bunch of songs that all have that kind of similar feeling, just with the guitar tones and just the way that the songs feel.
And I think we thought it was a good first single because it had the potential to have a cool video, which we were pretty happy with how the video turned out. It's pretty fun and it's pretty different to stuff that we'd done before. We had a lot of fun filming it. We were jumping on a trampoline. We were jumping off a bridge into the river down in town.
Yeah, I got hosed, wet with a hose, sitting inside a lounge room
in the house.
in the house. It was pretty interesting.
That was quite funny. In between takes, Baden had to climb outside the window onto the roof so that Lockie was out there hiding out of frame with a garden hose. So in between takes, we'd have to soak him down again. And then he'd come up the window and sit down before all the water streamed off his face. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was worried about the trampoline shots because you guys look like you got some air out there. And I was worried somebody's going to hurt themselves.
Yeah, that was. We were worried about that too, but we managed to get it done with no injuries.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's a plus. So you got a tune called Changes, not a David Bowie tune, but another Changes. Sounds like somebody's concerned about aging a little bit, and is that kind of the stuff on your mind? You guys are youngsters compared to me. So.
Yeah. Self-explanatory. I think, we're all sort of coming over a bit of a hill and noticing some grey hairs, and maybe the hangovers are getting worse and the knees are a bit creaky and stuff. So there is a little bit of that feeling of like, oh, maybe the prime's in the back rear view mirror now. But sort of just reminiscing on when you were feeling a little bit younger.
Gotcha.
I think that story and the lyrics that you sing in that, Baden, suit the music really well. The music's kind of a bit epic, and to have a theme like that, it's kind of fitting, I would say. Yeah. And that you played a 12-string acoustic guitar.
Yeah, first time recording with a 12-string guitar.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it does. It is an epic. It kind of builds up. There's some serious guitar in that one. So, how much time did you spend on that track?
Yeah, a lot of time.
Oh, a lot of time. A lot of rewriting and and just in studio, just messing around with guitar tones and getting them nice and thick and heavy. So, which you can hear in those chorus parts, it gets pretty big. So, we were happy with how that one turned out.
Yeah, and it's followed by Deepest Darkness, which just from the title, I was expecting it to be all dark and moody and stuff. And there's a video that kind of goes with it, but it's not. It's more of a love song than anything else, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's a love song. But we did feel that it had quite dark tones, just the music. A lot of the time I'm sort of mismatching lyrics with the way that songs sound. Some sad songs that have happy sort of feelings and major chords, and then the other way around as well. So I think that tonally felt for us a little bit dark, which sort of went with the title, but yeah, the lyrics are a bit more of a reason to smile. Yeah.
Speaking of smiling, how do you get your teeth to glow like that in the video?
Yeah. That was done in post. Colgate.
Done it. Fix it in post. I love it. So we saw you guys here. I think it was last May. You were here at the Spark Arena. So when you return again, I think you're coming back in January. What kind of different show are we going to see? What kind of sounds, visuals? What do you got planned? How do you change things up?
It's going to be a lot more of the new music. I think we're pretty keen to play some of this new stuff. So now that the record's out, that's what we'll be focusing on, I think.
Yeah, with new music means a new show. There'll be some new lighting design and probably maybe a different stage setup. I think at the Spark Arena we had some infinity mirrors on stage.
Right.
Not too sure if they'll be joining us on tour again next year, but something cool like that will be definitely involved in the show.
Right. And I mean, you guys are a pretty big band, a 6-piece. Is it hard to keep it all together and keep everybody happy and make sure everybody gets to say their part and do their thing in every album like this?
We kind of have we've been doing this together as best friends for a long time. So these days it just gets easier and easier with the more experience we get. But yeah, I think we're all pretty good at keeping it democratic, and everyone feels like they feel the responsibility to, to have their say and do their part, and everyone's got an equal stake in it. So that's the system that works really well for us. There's always some hiccups and some fights sometimes, but it's been pretty easy for us to just try to keep an eye on the bigger picture and just keep this thing rolling and make sure it happens.
Yeah, I mean, is there something you would advise folks who are in a big band? How do you keep everybody together and happy?
I think probably just be honest with each other and respect each other's decisions, really. Like, it's one thing to sort of put it to the vote, but there's always, everyone has the reasons for what they want, and it's pretty important to hear them out and respect everyone's decisions and ideas as much as your own.
I would say also not taking yourself or your music too seriously as well, because I mean, you have to be passionate and you have to, try your very hardest. But if you're sort of worrying about, what people think of your music or worrying about the future and things that are out of your control, then it's not really going to help your music making, I don't think. Yeah.
One more track to talk about, the opening track, Home. You got a video for that. Why is that leading off? What was the thought process there?
Home was one of the first ones we wrote as well, and we were tossing up between that and Touch Back Down for our first single.
Right.
I'm glad we went with Touch Back Down. I think it's just a bit more bright and like punchy. But Home, we were really, I remember we were all kind of impressed with each other when we wrote that. We thought it was a really good song. And it's just about all the good things and the happy times that you feel when you're at home, and not away from home. But it's I reckon it's a classic opener. Pretty soft, but still upbeat and interesting.
All righty. And who came up with the concept for the video? The girl hitchhiking and all that?
There was a director, Will Blakely, in Australia, and he's done work with us before. So he just kind of had that idea and sent it through to us, and it was kind of obvious that was a great direction that the film clip could go, just considering the lyrics and the feel of the song. And it was just about showcasing someone's yearning for home and how showcasing how comfortable home makes them feel. I think it was shot in Victoria and parts of New South Wales maybe as well back home. So shot in Australia with Australian actors. So that's cool.
Cool. Excellent. All righty. Well, I don't want to keep you guys too long because You got shows to do and records to release. So thank you very much for taking time to talk to me down here in Auckland today. And good luck with the shows. Good luck with the album. Hope everything does well. We look forward to seeing you when you come back here.
Thank you very
Marty.
much. Thanks for the chat.
Have a good one.
You betcha. Bye-bye.